There'll always be someone willing to work for less. And that's where we're going to lose. He takes everything that comes by his phone. That's a lot of driving. That's a lot of miles. I used to do that. But you know where I stand. Yeah, you change with the times. You change. It's someone else's turn to do all that. I'm sorry you hit traffic twice. You're a little late. Northern Boulevard is challenging. I know what you mean. I'm sure you're working for your money. $60 is decent, but you're still driving a lot of miles. However, it's not so bad. $60 at least is $60, you know? One of the winners completed one and got $500. Typical. That's why I'm not even counting on it. It's just, there should be a prerequisite for any winners on the dlivrd app. You know what I mean? Like, you have to complete at least 12 deliveries in a month to be eligible to be in the raffle to win $500. Something like that. I started working on the video at the place, picking up the food because they needed a little time. They only open at 11, and good staff is hard to find. This staff is aces. They move. They got there a little earlier to, prepare this food, almost $800 worth of food, $46 payout, and there's work involved. It's not easy to transport 28 individual drinks, unless you have a really larger car and a larger setup. But then you can't walk into the buildings. People don't take that into consideration. That's a really good point. Well, I'm thinking about that. You have to get into the building. There are offices that huge carts cannot fit into. My cart is perfect. I've been really lucky. Let me step on the gas. I've been really lucky. And I go behind people's chairs because it's a tight squeeze. It happens often. The back end of an office, you don't see it in the front end. You know what I mean? I got off track. So I'm picking up the food, and I thought I'd work on the video. And why am I here? Because of the opportunity with crypto, utility crypto. Why am I here? All the opportunities to invest in advanced technology, and I've been on my game for a long time, and everything's going to fall into, well, it is already falling into place. I should say that. I am getting my time back. Life is getting easier. I know this is challenging. Delivering this amount of food by yourself on a little cart, but if you get experience, you know how to set it up on your cart to make one trip. You know how to work with people that's in the restaurant. You know how to give customer service to the people you're delivering to. It all matters. You can't just send someone out there and go, deliver $800 worth of food with no experience. I've witnessed many drivers picking up that amount of food and more, and they're a mess. They can't even fit the food in their car. But that's where the cheap apps will, that's why I say in a video I uploaded a few days ago, it's gotten to the point that, scheduled deliveries, not everyone qualifies to deliver $800, $1,000, $1,500 worth of food. And if these catering orders from Ease Cater ever got placed on, well, DoorDash tried to get into it, and I witnessed several messes of just watching drivers pick up the food. I'm like, these people that's going to be a mess. Is it really worth trying to see how low you can pay people? Don't you want to know your good steady money coming in with the good workers out in the field? You know what I mean? If catering deliveries get on those apps and people just turn on the app and whatever comes in, it'll be a mess. And you know what I mean. Like with Uber Eats in my market. I turn on the app. whatever comes in, comes in. Either I take it or I don't. But I go, sure. And then during prime time, busy times, they usually add one, they add another one. You get it. So here we go. I'm on my way. See, now this is a problem. An app's not going to help me with this when I get to the drop-off. I can't get between cars with my cart the way I'm piling up the food without hitting a car, touching a car. I need a parking spot that at least I have an open area to wheel the cart. That's kind of far, And there's security driving around. Of course there is. This is what an app's not going to help you with. There are parking spots over there, but I need a walk path that's open, that I'm not touching someone's car. I can't get through the car, and that's not going to work. I got lucky. I got a great spot, and it's not too far. Well, it is a little bit of a walk, but it's on the right side that I have plenty of room to roll that cart filled with 5 bags of food on. And I can't pile it just all the same way. Experience. I pile 2 like this, and then I put the other 3 like this with bungee cords, but it's too wide. The bags are too wide. I couldn't get through the cars. You know what I mean. I pulled up. I just got everything situated on my cart to, roll in. I had to use 2 bungee cords. This was a big load, and you can't just plop every bag on top of everything because you have chips. You have taco shells. They can't break. You know what I mean? You got beans, a lot of liquidy food. That's a challenge in itself. This is an upgrade medical facility where people get infusions. A lot of people are very sick. And, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 turns down long hallways to a back room. And they were really nice. There are many educated, kind, appreciative people out there. They let me do my job. There were 3, the rep, when I pulled up, East Cater called. An older lady asked me for assistance. I said, follow me, not knowing that the guy that was waiting for the food, because this was a late order. Well, it wasn't my fault it was late. I was on time. And you only could drive so fast. Then he realized, he was like, are you from the guac shop? And I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, you made this so much easier. I said, she needs assistance. Can you help this lady? I mean, she's definitely, I say she was in her 90s. She pulled up. Lady was in great condition. She just needed an assistance, and there's security here. You don't walk into this building unless you go by the security. And I said, I've been here before. I understand the routine. I got to go in the elevator. He went up the stairs. We went down the hallways. And when I got into the room, the way they spoke to me was impressive. Not everyone speaks to delivery people like that. This is why I say not just anybody can do this. And I said, oh, great. Give me 10 minutes and I'll be done. They stood to the corner, the 3 people. They took that time. They were multitasking. They are there for business, the rep. And it was a doctor and a nurse. And they were catching up. And they were watching me. And I know they were watching me. And I was moving fast. It probably took me 12 minutes to break this down, and I'll show it to you because it was a lot of food. It was, close to $900 worth of food, I believe. This was. And 28 individual bottles of soda. And they just let me break it down, do my job. And when I entered the room, she said, please, make sure you put the plates, the serving spoons, the silverware. I didn't open anything up. I just laid it out. But the spoons and everything were right there. I don't open food. And not unless I'm told. And only a couple of times I was told, can you help us open it? They were in a rush. Just make sure it's here so when people grab their food, they walk right outside the door because we'll have congestion on the other side of the room. I totally get it. No problem, ma'am. They were all so appreciative. When I was leaving the building, now I needed a little bit of assistance because it's a long walk. I'm walking down hallways of little cubby holes of people that are very ill. and nurses and doctors walking all over the place. You're walking in the middle of all the activity, you know? And I had a few people said, stop, what is it today? What did you bring us today? Oh, I'm in the mood for that. These people were really nice. I mean, really nice. And they were eager. They were eager to, have a good, hearty, warm meal. And they were all so happy when I told them what it was, because I picked up from the guac shop in Montauk, and they do have good quality fast food. And it's not, regular fast food, you know what I mean? But if the catering orders ever went on the mainstream apps like, Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub, and I've discussed it, it would be a mess, because not everybody can do what I just did. With walking in, your whole image and how you have to act inside these places. You can't just send someone in. Oh, and you have to understand English. That's key. And if that bothers anybody, oh well. It is the native language of the country. You have to speak English. So this isn't as easy as you think. I did accept an order for tomorrow, only a $30 payout. It is a Great Neck drop off. I decided to take it because I'm not available on the weekends anymore for catering orders. I really don't have a desire to deliver to people's homes. I don't care if you get that occasional, $50 tip. Weekends, I'm not available. If I feel like working on a weekend, I want to shop and deliver. I want to just bop around town and do my thing with food delivery, pick up and drop off, because I'm in a transition, and that's just the way it's got to be. So this isn't as easy as people think it is. Absolutely not.